and that's inaccurate. TCEQ, shortly after we released our study, did a memo, an internal memo, that validated the findings in our study. They then went and did a study of their own. This is 3 separate testing cycles in 3 separate months. There's 313 pages in the document. They went to 44 individual locations. They took 94 samples around those 44 individual locations, and 21 of them had exceedances on benzene. It's actually one of the lower ones. The average was from about 17 parts per billion to about 50 parts per billion. So of the exceedances, you probably sit at about 25 parts per billion on those 21 sites. And you can look at this, or you can go on TCB's website and take a look at it. And the expert on benzene, the reason that I bring benzene is because everybody knows about benzene. There's a lot of other stuff detected here. Benzene is just the flashy toxin that everybody knows about. The national expert on benzene says that if you're above 5, 10 parts per billion, you have imminent danger for children, meaning that you can cause problems for children in a very short period of time. It doesn't take you years to have that. And then TCEQ's installed this in our community. This is a continuous air monitoring system. There's 3 cities in the state of Texas that have these: Houston, Corpus Christi, and Dish. If, in fact, TCEQ did not think that we had a problem in Dish, would they have installed this thing? That's about a $150,000 piece of equipment. I think it's $100,000 to run it for a year. So that's $250,000 in the first year, sitting right there. Fortunately, they let me help in picking the site for this, and we put it about 50 feet from where we consistently got our highest readings. And this should be online anytime. Once it gets online, anybody can get on the internet and you can see what the air quality is in Dish, Texas. So, when we had our air study, I really, truly thought I was going to find a gas leak. I really thought that was the problem. There was some sort of leaking methane that was causing our other problems. I did not anticipate getting 16 toxins at some pretty high levels. As the consultant said, these levels are pretty impressive. Did not anticipate that, did not expect that. So, once you know, you can't not know. So I have to do something now. So I worked with a group called the Oil and Gas Accountability Project. And they have folks all around the country. They have a chapter in Texas. They have a chapter in Marcellus, Shale, I believe. And one of the ladies on their board is Wilma Subra, and she is a MacArthur Genius Award winner. And she won that award for helping communities along the Mississippi River from Baton Rouge to New Orleans, known as Cancer Alley. And so she wrote in about 10-page questionnaire. It's pretty onerous. We got 31 citizens to fill that out, which has been brought up. That's not very many people, but it is a sixth of our population. So it is quite a bit for us, I guess. So they answered the questionnaire, and of the health effects that were reported by the citizens, 61% were known health effects of the chemicals that were detected in our air study. And these are some of those: difficulty breathing, brain disorders, eye irritation, dizziness, frequent nausea, fatigue, muscle aches, headaches, sinus problems, stomach irritation. So, news ain't getting any better. So, Is that a scientific study? No, it's not. But it tells me, you know what? We might need to investigate more. So we did. So I called our state health department, Texas Department of Health and Human Services. And they may have actually changed their name. It might be like Texas State Health Services. In England, you get the picture. It's the state health department. And I asked them to come out and do biological testing. The biological testing is very expensive. And the average person probably couldn't do that. I mean, these are maybe $1,000 a test. You got a family of 4, that's a lot of money. So they agreed to do 1 adult per household, and they had people had to volunteer. So 28 people had tests done. So 28 separate households. More people than that wanted to have it done, but they said 28 was the limit, or 1 person per household, so that was the limit. And so I had this tested myself. I had myself tested as support for the program. I told them that if they came out, I would get tested as well. And so they came in, they tested me, took a bunch of pictures of me and all that stuff while they were doing the testing. This is what my results showed. In my blood, I had chloroform, dichlorobenzene of 1 and 3, which I don't know what any of this stuff is, but I know it has benzene and it's not good. In my urine, I had metabolites of 1,3-butadiene, toluene, and dimethylformamide. In my water, I had ethylbenzene, styrene, xylene, and imipixylene. Do you know what BTEX stands for? It's the 4 most well-known carcinogens: benzene, ethylbenzene, toluene, and xylene. You see a lot of those up there, huh? So, in my blood, these were detected at detectable levels. They weren't in excess, so they weren't above the standard in my blood. So a few of my citizens gave me their results, and out of that, there was only 1 that had levels that were above the standard. However, the Department of Health and Human Services has now publicly released that half the citizens, 14 of the citizens, had blood levels that were above the standard. And it was this similar stuff. So, you still ain't getting any better. These chemicals, all these chemicals are found in our air study. We were tested for 50 or so chemicals, different toxins. The only ones that were consistently positive were the ones that were detected in our air sample. In Texas, the drilling is getting closer and closer and closer to homes. I think we're going to have a question to answer at the end.
The testing that you mentioned, were they all adults, or was any testing done on children?
No testing were done on children. That was getting closer and closer and closer to homes. And a lot of times they don't have to. This is a picture it's been floated around the internet quite a bit. It's in the Ruggiero family home. And you see the light shining in the window. If you see an aerial photo, which I have some aerial photos up here of their property, there's literally thousands of open acres around this property. And they chose to put this a couple hundred feet off their house. So that's looking out their kitchen window. This is their daughter playing in the shadows of the drilling rig. This is an illustration of how many pad sites can be in place. The scarring of the land